Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm an ADHD coach, and today's video is all about ADHD and money. I have a financial coach joining me to talk about all different strategies to help you with money and especially impulse purchases. So I hope you enjoy. We had a really great discussion, and let's just get into it. I'm here with Danielle. She's a financial coach.
Hi, I'm Danielle. I'm a financial coach and founder at Damsel Financial Coaching. I generally help self-employed women with the day-to-day of money in their business and their life, and love talking about this topic because it comes up a lot with clients. Thanks, Zoe.
Yeah, I'm sure. And if you're new here, I'm Zoe. I'm an ADHD coach at New Bloom ADHD Coaching, and I help people with really all the different ways that ADHD can show up. Yeah, it's really great to be joined by a money finance specialist. So I guess we can start off with kind of talking about what impulsivity is in general. Really, it's action without foresight. And for ADHDers, we can struggle with our ability to modulate and manage behavior and reactions and emotions in the moment, even when we really need to, and even if we want to. And there's a lot of different ways that impulsivity can show up, whether it's blurting something out, saying yes to something when you really shouldn't, going out when you need to be working, um, eating more candy than you want to, and of course, impulse purchases.
So like a lot of things that you see with ADHD, like lots of people could sort of relate to lots of those pieces, but would you say like it's more pronounced for people with ADHD? And so
Yeah,
those challenges become extra challenging.
yeah, I think, like you said, a lot of times people relate to ADHD struggles, which they're just things that humans experience. So, of course,
Right.
but I think what makes it ADHD is when it's combined with other things, but also it's the frequency and intensity. So, while someone might, make the odd impulse purchase, they're like on vacation, they're like, oh, I like this souvenir, but with ADHD, impulsivity might be like genuinely life destroying. Super quick, kind of like why behind the impulsivity. It's a few things. It's stimulation seeking, it's executive dysfunction, and also delay aversion. So we would always rather pick the smaller reward that comes sooner rather than waiting for a bigger, more satisfying reward. And that's because we don't get the expected amount of satisfaction from a reward.
I've mentioned to you that I work with a lot of people with ADHD, so much so that I started really focusing on how financial coaching that I do supports people with ADHD. Um, so I've picked up on some of these things and learned more about it. And certainly you can see the impulse spending, or sticking to like a traditional budget,
Mhm.
sort of like creating it, but then, and I've done this tons of times myself, you like have all the best intentions, you create the budget, you're like, okay, things are going to be on track. And then it's like out the window. We just don't like see it. It's not tangible. And like money in general has this nature of feeling intangible, especially these days where we use plastic or we click buttons to order things. It is so much less tangible than it was once upon a time when you had like cash in your wallet that you could really like physically see. So certainly I see this come up a lot with clients with ADHD.
ADHDers struggle with those intangible things. I think money is a lot like time in that it's
Mm,
kind of this socially constructed concept that doesn't have that physical, tangible, like in your face piece. So it's
yeah.
easy to kind of forget about it or not really have like a understanding that connects with our brain. The online kind of
The easy click.
intangibleness. Yeah.
I
So
have to
what
share really quickly. I was watching TV the other day and I don't know what streaming service I was watching. I can't remember. But all of a sudden, the commercial, yes, I get commercials because I'm not paying full price. I will take the commercials. A commercial came up and it showed that I could just like click a button and it would order it on Amazon for me. That felt extremely futuristic. I've never seen that before. So
Mhm.
I always talk about how easy it is to just click and buy, but now apparently it's going to be right in our face if you have commercials on streaming services.
That is wild. You know what the most dystopian thing is? Like, I don't know if you have an Alexa,
Yeah, well, my
but
daughters do, so we have a couple in the house.
yeah, it'll be like, oh, do you want to order this? Just say yes. Or
Oh,
like,
I haven't heard that
yeah,
before.
like it'll
That's
ask you if you
terrifying.
want to order stuff. It'll be like, do you want to sign up for Alexa Plus? It's only blah, blah, blah a month. Say yes.
Wow.
Like, I'm literally just trying to get like a kitchen timer or like listen to, it does it all the time with music. Like, if you're like, Alexa, play like instrumental jazz, it'll be like, this playlist is available on Plus. Do you want to
Oh
sign
my
up? Like
gosh.
it's literally prompting you to make a purchase with your voice while I'm just trying to
Wow.
cook.
Good
It's
thing my cards are not
crazy.
attached to my kids'
Yeah.
Alexas because I wouldn't even realize that's happening.
Yeah, they could literally be ordering like toys and stuff. In terms of strategies
Yeah, let's get
for
into the good
this.
stuff of how we
Yeah.
can deal with this.
Um yeah, so definitely I would say like having a plan around your spending, especially around like high spending times like holidays, birthdays. Um, yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. Like with financial coaching, building a plan for your money is like the base of what we do. And so when it comes to the spending piece, we create a plan for all money. Like, here's what we bring in a month, here's all the expense in our lives. And I have people plan for the things that aren't every month. Like when I talked
Mhm.
about traditional budgets before, usually if you sit down, you go to make a budget, you think, okay, so what do I spend on groceries? What is rent or my mortgage, my insurance, my cell phone bill? These are all the things that come to mind because like they're regular, they're happening all the time. So we might think of all of those, but we often forget things that aren't happening right now. Like in June, we're probably not thinking about Christmas purchases. Things sneak up on us, even if it does happen every year, even if we know it's going to happen. So I always help people build a plan that considers, like, in the whole run of a year, what kinds of things might we need to spend money on? And then we split it out like that. And I have a whole process where they, create separate actual savings accounts within their banking so that they can nickname it and almost like file that money for that future situation. So it's not hitting you in the month that it shows up because we know
Hmm.
it's going to happen. So we can figure out, like, if I put this much into this bucket every month and like hold it there saved.
I think that's really important because, like I was saying with time and ADHD, it's like even though we have this idea that like Christmas is coming, things operate as either now or not now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so we definitely need like ways to make the future more concrete in our present life.
Yeah, and we just structure it so it's filed. And like for some things, if it's, some things I have people set money aside, maybe it's like personal care stuff. So maybe they don't get their haircut every month. Maybe it's every few months. But we're gonna like put money in every single month. Or
Hmm.
maybe there's a bill that's every few months. Again, we'll put away a bit of money every month. So it's there. And for some of these, it's like we put some in, but then we use it. Like maybe we have an account for clothing. So we're putting money in there, but maybe we're sort of casually buying clothing throughout the year. So the account kind of goes up and down. For some things, we might be putting away and it's kind of building and it's not going to be used for a while. Sometimes those we move right out of that normal bank account, like out of the regular one. So it's not tempting us. So we don't go on there
Mhm.
and see that dollar value. So someone might be saving for a trip or saving for Christmas, and so instead of seeing that number get big and tempt us, we just move it. Maybe we put it in like a Wealth Simple account or some other bank. And it's just like putting that system in place to support us for
Mhm.
when we're not feeling as like ready to be making and working the plan.
Almost like using an ADHD deficit to our advantage. Like if we can't see it, we forget about it. So
Totally.
if you put that money away, you don't see it, you forget that it exists until it's
Yeah.
time to access it.
Yeah, and some people set these up on automations. Like sometimes people want to like manually do it, so we would set it up with a timing. Like specifically plan the time. Maybe it's like, let's pretend I have a biweekly paycheck, then every 2 weeks on payday is my day to go and make transfers to my separate accounts. Um, that could be like the plan. So you sort of keep aware of it. But some people, if the cash flows are okay to trust it, they'll
Mhm.
just put that on automation. So that money is just going directly, and we don't need to think about it until it's like, okay, I'm going to plan that trip. Let's see how much I can spend.
The next thing that I love doing is like making vision boards. Creating that vision board is another way to really put in a tangible way, like what we're actually working towards. Because I feel like if people had the choice between like a bunch of random things on Amazon and like their
Yeah.
true goals, they would always pick their goals, but it's hard to keep that in mind when it's either now or like it's all just in the now.
Yeah. So you can do that, like what I call value-based budgeting.
Hmm.
So if we can put everything out on the table at once, so we really see what are we wanting more of, and so we're okay with having less of this. Um, the vision board is a great idea. I was at this event once and I had people, no one wants to come to the girl at the table talking about money. So I had a little game. We'd pink post-its, and the idea was that you would write your number one financial goal on the post-it and stick it to this board and you could win a prize. And so many people really didn't know what their number one financial goal was. They would look at their partner like, I don't know, what should we say? And the idea that like so many people don't know what the number one goal is, how are we going to achieve it if we
Hmm.
don't give it a name and then like work toward it? So the vision board is so good for that. Like, let's decide, what do we even want in this life? That's the first step to then
Yeah.
start working toward it. And then it makes it much more clear if decisions are taking you away from that goal or helping you work toward it.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like we actually need to know what it is that we're working towards. And I think vision boards are great, but I think a lot of the times where they fall apart is people once again forgetting that they exist.
Yeah.
So once you do it, like print that out and like put it everywhere.
In your face.
Yeah, like put it on your fridge, put it on your bathroom
Like
mirror,
on the
make
mirror.
it
Yeah.
your desktop wallpaper, make it your phone wallpaper,
Oh,
like
that's a really good idea. I love that. I'm gonna do
wherever
that.
you are, wherever you're looking a lot, like frame it, put it on your desk, like whatever it is, make it so that you don't have to seek it out. It's just like naturally coming
Mm.
up and reminding you.
I had someone tell me to do that for like when this is a little bit off topic, but if you're feeling like imposter syndrome or something, to just like write down all the reasons why you're awesome at what you do. Like there is all that evidence, but it
Mhm.
takes that effort to like dig it out, like, oh right, I did this. Right, right, right. I can do that. And so just like she had me have post-its all
Yeah.
over my workspace to be like, you're awesome because of this, and you don't have to dig down. You can just be like, oh yeah, I'm great. I
Yeah,
can
like
do this.
it's we need to have those reminders coming to us because having to seek them out is just like adding friction that we do not need. Then another thing is body doubling, which I am a huge fan of. And for anyone who doesn't know what body doubling is, it's like basically just having other people around you while you do stuff. In the context of online shopping, this can look like getting together with a friend or like adding external accountability in some way. So, like texting someone that
Yeah.
about your plans, just letting it be known in the world outside of yourself.
That's a really good idea. I use body doubling with clients sometimes. If we have maybe there's some work between sessions they could do, maybe they didn't get time, maybe they forgot about it. We just use session time to do the things, do the
Mhm.
tasks, because it's still a good use of time because it's
Yeah.
moving the needle forward. And I'll just, they'll work on their stuff and I'll be doing something else, their support if they have a question. But really, it's just about this time was set up for this. Danielle is another human online right now, sort of like keeping them on task without me having to like, I'm not telling them, are you really doing it? It's just like my presence is making them feel good about doing the work. And I know there's apps and things for not co-working. It's like co-working, but body doubling that people use
Yeah,
sometimes.
there is. There's this one website called Focus Me that I really love, and you get 3 sessions a week for free. And one thing about it that I really like is you can schedule it in advance. So there's that element of like it's on the calendar. Somebody is
Right.
expecting me to show up. There's like an attendance score that will go down if you miss it.
Oh,
Um,
that's really good.
yeah,
So it makes you treat something that's like a personal thing that you need to do with your own boundaries, but holds you to this external boundary that
yeah.
we need.
So yeah, that's a really simple but very powerful tool. One thing about online shopping is that it's kind of like open 24/7. So making like store hours your dedicated shopping time instead of kind of just like browsing and buying things casually like whenever,
Yeah.
having a specific time where you like sit down and buy the things online that you have decided you need to get, like cuts out that window shopping, but also works in a pause to help with the impulsive element of like,
Right.
if instead of just being like, oh, this looks cool, buy, it's like, okay, my shopping time is later today. Then you're
Right.
thinking about it. You're like, oh, do I really need this?
Right. So you're not in shopping brain at all times. Because
Yeah.
that's what they want us to be ready to click the button at any moment.
The marketing, like the FOMO marketing, the like buy it now, it's running out really plays into that.
Oh, absolutely. We just have to remind ourselves like it's always that though. It's
Yes.
always short on time. You know, sometimes you put something in a cart and they'll send you a discount just to be like,
Hmm.
hey, are you going to complete that purchase? We'll give you X% off.
Yes, I feel like I always now just kind of put stuff in my cart and then like wait 24 hours to see if I'm gonna get an abandoned cart coupon.
Yes. Yeah. Just play the system if they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Which ties into one of the things that I tell clients is a good structure for like the online shopping is like give yourself a checkout day. So I
Mm.
like that you would like here's the time of day that we can shop. I have it so my clients will put things in their cart. Like let's say it's Amazon. A lot of people like do a lot of Amazon. So things can go in the cart throughout the week, but once a week or once a pay period or once a month there's like a particular day that you're allowing yourself to press checkout. So it gives time to like let it all add up in there. And then you go to it and you'll be like, what? How is it that much? I got like this for 40, this was 15, this was 35. They're all like relatively small things, but when you see them all in one place, then you can make those judgment calls of like, oh, okay, well, no, I don't really need that. No, this I really do want. And then pitter it down to what you really want to be purchasing in that period of time.
Yeah, I love that because it lets you see everything. Yeah, because it's like in
Yeah.
your mind, you're like, oh, this is five, this is 10. It's not that much, but it really does add up. So it lets you
Yeah, it
see
lets you
it
see the
all.
real
Hmm.
picture of how it's going to
Yeah,
hit you
that's really
before
great.
the regret of seeing it on the credit card. Let's do it before that. Yeah.
Yeah, or like getting all of these things and then being like, okay, I accidentally bought two of these and forgot that I already ordered one. Now I have to return it. But then we all know how hard it is to do returns when you have ADHD. And so
So
it just
true.
becomes like another thing in your returns file.
Yeah, we don't need those piling up and like piling up like the someone described it recently as like something on her shoulder of just like sitting there like this weight, the like stress of the thing that she needs to do.
Hmm.
Let's avoid that totally.
Yeah. And like the more things like that that we have kind of like on our mind is straining our, it's like something that we're trying to hold in our working memory. And that's straining
Mhm.
our already struggling executive functions. And so it can really just like pile on and make ADHD feel worse as a
Yeah.
whole. And then there's like calculating money in terms of like hours worked to make it a little more tangible. I find this is super helpful for me. I'm like, okay, this would be like, I mean, for me as an entrepreneur, I'd be like, this would be like one session with somebody. Like, is
Right.
it really worth one session with somebody?
Love that way of like making it equal something else
Mhm.
and your time and like the work that you do. Or someone might be like, this is a whole 8 hours like shift. Is it
Yeah.
worth like a whole day of my work time? I think that is really powerful. I do something similar in like the when we put everything on the table, it's like that value-based budgeting of is this worth foregoing this?
Mhm.
So when we think about our savings buckets that I was talking about, we can see that if we have a certain amount in clothing and a certain amount in like a travel account, if we buy more in clothing, we're like eating into maybe the travel account.
Mhm.
And it kind of makes you face like, where is the money actually coming from? And I'm okay with that. Maybe you are, maybe it is okay for that. But then it makes you face if you are or if you're not. So maybe the clothing wasn't as important as like this trip that you're really, really wanting. And you can make that value judgment.
Yeah, it helps bring you back to those other things that you might be forgetting about in the moment. And again, like really makes you pause with impulsivity. Like it is really hard for us to pause, like when your brain is going so fast. So working in those other ways to like force it to happen
Yes.
is also just super helpful. In terms of other ways that we can like protect our digital space, we kind of touched on it a little bit. I think removing card autofill and like we were saying with the Alexa, like not having that on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true. And I do love an autofill because it does, when I don't have it, I shouldn't, but it hasn't been an issue necessarily. But when I have to go and get a card, it is very likely that it won't happen unless it's like an actual important thing that I need to do. Because it means like getting up and physically going somewhere
Mhm.
else to find the card. It's a great stop gap for those impulse moments, I feel like.
Usually when we want to get ourselves to do things with ADHD, it's all about removing friction and like removing barriers, but we can use it to our
Frickin'
advantage
yeah.
because there's that friction of having to go get your card, enter all the information. And so you might be like, oh, I'll just do it later. Then that adds in the
Yeah,
natural
exactly.
thinking time. And then there's like all of the social media stuff.
Oh yeah, it's coming at us at every
Mhm.
direction,
Yeah,
really.
just kind of trying to quiet it as much as possible, like unsubscribing from all of those emails.
Right. Just like removing that temptation as much as you can.
Yeah, there's a really easy way to do it on Gmail where you can literally, I can't remember exactly how to do it, but in the settings, you can go see all your subscriptions and like filter it by who's sending the
Oh,
most. And you can just go like boom, boom, boom. So you don't have to search through and
that
like,
makes sense because sometimes my Gmail asks me if I want to unsubscribe from certain places that I haven't opened an email from
mhm.
for a long time. So it makes sense that there's a way to do that when you
Yeah,
do that.
yeah, I do it every like few months or so, and my inbox has been a lot cleaner. Social media, just like unfollowing brands, like you don't need to know about their latest sale or their latest
Yeah.
product. Like if you need it, you'll find out about it some other way. Influencers or just like accounts that make you feel like you need something.
Mhm.
We don't need those in life.
Something that I would add here is like we're doing everything we can. We're going to remove our, autofill and we're going to unsubscribe and unfollow some stuff. But then also like give yourself the space that like maybe sometimes it's still going to happen. So it's
Mhm.
not like a all or nothing kind of thing and make some space for it in your budget, like the spending money thing, so that you can sometimes, fall into that and it not feel like a super shameful thing because you planned for it.
Yeah,
So some fun spending can exist that you are totally okay with. It fits in within your total budget. So it doesn't always have to feel like all spending feels guilty.
yeah, I really like that because sometimes like you're out and you just want to grab like that little thing you saw.
Yeah.
But you should be able to do that sometimes without feeling like so shameful and guilty about it and just
And
like
then
do
I
that.
feel like it helps you stick to it because like it's not that it's so restrictive that you can never do this. You can sometimes, but by making your decisions in this way and help build the structure for yourself,
Mhm.
you're going to get the stuff you really cared more to get than all the little random stuff along the way.
Not feeling restrictive is so important for ADHD brains to actually like stick with something
Yeah,
long term.
exactly.
Yeah. What about we kind of are talking about it now, like the in-person shopping,
Yeah.
which feels like it's not as much of a thing as it used to be back in the day, but obviously still exists.
Yeah, and then
Um,
there's really almost no time then too because you just like grab it and go. Like if I don't know, I know that like if I'm at a home sense or something, they've got the whole aisle
mhm.
is full of lovely little items that feel like good to have, like a mug or stationery. Like I love that stuff. And snacks. They have it all along the way as you're waiting to get to the cash register. So then you're like right there. But before about those savings buckets accounts, but you kind of need to be in the mindset to be thinking of those. And sometimes you may not be.
Mhm.
So sometimes I work with clients like, okay, what can we do in your specific situation to help in this area? So sometimes it might look like leaving a credit card at home when you go out.
Mm.
Now, why this works is part of what I do with people is we create a separate checking account that our debit card connects to that is not where their bills come out of and isn't a credit card. So like if we know we have our spending money available, we can take that out, but maybe we leave the credit card at home. Or if maybe that's not a great fix because maybe, you know, you're worried about emergencies or you're traveling, so you kind of need to have your credit card with
Mhm.
you, putting a post-it on it, and it can say
Ooh.
whatever, like we kind of figure out what that would be, but put a post-it on it that makes you sort of stop and think about it without it being like so quick.
Yeah.
Um, and I know we also have it like you can pay with your phone these days too. So that's a quick like tap tap pay. So like it's maybe a decision of like, do you want it to be that easy to be a click on your phone and pay, or do you want to have to like add that other step, just like you were talking about, like those moments for reconsideration?
And I'm just thinking like back to when we were talking about the vision board. Like if you have your vision board as your wallpaper, it will just kind of like flash up before you do the
Yeah.
pay.
I had a client, we just moved her card to a different part of her wallet
Mm.
because it was just always there and she would go for it. So we just moved that card that was a problem to like the
Mhm.
back. And it just made her like think before she went for it.
It's always like stuff that's so simple, but it's really so effective. And I think those are like the best
Yeah,
strategies.
I think it's like
Yeah.
thinking about your own activities and like what would impact you. That's how we come up with these things is sort of talking to the individual and saying like what would stop you. For some people, you know, moving it in the wallet wouldn't matter. Like for me, my wallet's a mess. I never know where that card's going to be. So moving it wouldn't really matter because I'm always digging through anyway. But for some people,
Mhm.
it's like always in that spot. So they're going to know.
That's where like coaching can be really helpful with either of us because it is personalized. Like there's just so many tips online that like you can collect these tips, but they're not really geared towards you and like your specific life and challenges that we can actually like look at you and like co-create what's going to work for you specifically.
So true. Like that, along with the body doubling,
Yeah.
having a coach, whether it's an ADHD coach, a financial coach, having that person that kind of knows exactly what your goals are, what we're trying to achieve, and then has those kind of like toolboxes of things to sort of
Mhm.
pull to say, like, well, maybe this for you, rather than trying to like implement everything, because it's not really the goal to be implementing every potential thing all the time.
No. And like also just that element of like knowing that somebody is going to check in on you, like not, I mean, I'm not going to like yell at my clients. I don't know what your style is, but I'm not
Yeah.
imagining it's that. But like just
Yeah.
knowing that somebody is going to like gently kind of check in and see how things are going can also just be like that very gentle pressure.
Totally. Just
Like,
having to like talk to someone about it, you
yeah,
know, because in regular daily life, people aren't necessarily talking to the people in their lives about the stuff that we talk to clients about. And so having that person meant for that is really, really helpful, I think.
just going back to like the in-person shopping. Um, I think self regulation is a limited resource for everyone, but even more so when you have ADHD. And so, not going out to places where stores are going to be, especially grocery shopping, when you have limited self regulation. So, like when you're really stressed or you're really tired, or you kind of just have like a lot going on, not going shopping, and then also knowing strategies to help replenish your ability to self regulate. I mean, those are going to be very individualized, but whatever it is that you do to self regulate, knowing what those things are and then doing them before you go to the store can also help be able to self regulate more and avoid those impulsive
That's
purchases.
a great one. Just like not going to those spaces if you can avoid it is really helpful.
Yeah,
It's
or
really,
if you need to, like, take a moment to regulate, like, especially with the grocery store, like, eating first.
I was actually gonna add that too.
Yeah.
I try to at least like throw a granola bar in me before I go to the grocery store because it's the worst thing to shop when you're hungry because then you just want everything. And grocery stores are actually a pretty good one. Not all areas have that access, but if you can shop online, sometimes there's a fee. But if you sort of consider the fee that you pay for the online shopping compared to what impulse purchases you would have if you were at the store, it's really nice to be able to get everything you want, look at the dollar value it's going to cost you, and then you can always go back through the list if you need to make changes because of that number you're trying to stick to.
Mm, yeah, that's a really good point. Like I know at least here in Canada, a lot of the grocery stores have like click and collect. So
Yeah.
where you put together the order online and then you can go pick it up instead of like DoorDash, where there's even more fees.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, the DoorDashes and the skip the dishes of the world, I swear when they started, it was to like get everyone addicted to using them because the prices were sort of regular. And then they started upping the prices of the menu items for
Yeah.
using the service and adding all the fees on top of that. So now it really does blow it out of the water compared to what it would be if you went in person. So yeah, I'm really talking about grocery stores, not so much the other services that can really add up.
And even like when you're doing online too, like don't do that hungry either, I would say.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
yeah, when you're hungry, you're less regulated, hangry, as we say. So yeah, being
And
fed and hydrated is like just one part of
yeah.
being self-regulated.
And when I go to Costco, people might think I'm weird, but I keep my phone calculator out the whole time. I add each one because something about Costco, you cannot get out of there without spending a ton of money. So I really don't want to be surprised at the end. So
Hmm.
I like keep a running total as we go so that I know if things are getting hairy and something needs to go back or like what that's going to look like. So sometimes you just have to be okay with it maybe looking a little strange, but if you see me at Costco, you'll probably see a calculator in my hand.
And I don't know what it is about Costco, and I don't know if you get this too. It's like a Costco spell or something where it's like I would never pay like $20 for that if it was in the grocery store, but because it's at Costco, I'm like, it's
That'd
fine.
be
Like it's a
that'd
good
be a good
deal.
deal. It's Costco.
Like
You
it's
get a
like
lot of it.
yeah, I'm like this giant bag of Dubai chocolates for 18.99. Amazing deal. But like if I like I would never buy that.
You would never need that much
No.
of anything. You know what I often do now is I go splits with my mom. So she'll go to Costco and she'll do an order and then we'll like split some stuff
Mm.
when it's like that's a lot for one household or for one person.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Having like a Costco buddy.
Costco buddy. A Costco buddy. I know a
Yeah.
girl too who does Costco buddy shopping with her friend and then some bigger like bulk items they just split and then split the cost.
Yeah, because it can be a great way to save money, but like not if you're gonna throw out half the stuff because it doesn't
Yeah,
get used.
exactly. There's
Yeah.
some things that you can get there and some things that just aren't worth it
Mhm.
for it really depends on the individual.
Yes, definitely. Well, I think that's all I have to say. Is there anything else that you would like
I was
to?
just gonna throw in, it's kind of similar in some ways, and it's impulse giving. I
Hmm.
wanted to include this because I have a number of clients that I end up working with, and they end up giving a lot because they're lovely people and they just want to give back to everyone. So whether it's like the community or adult children or other family members, and sometimes giving can end up being at the detriment of the person themselves. And like we know that people's loved ones and the community doesn't want them to give at their own detriment. So we end up again with the savings bucket idea, kind of mapping out who would I want to buy for or give money to, if that's the case, over the course of a year. Think about all the different holidays, all the different situations and scenarios, and the individuals, and then like applying a number for all of those. And then again, you'd use that savings bucket. So every pay, I'm going to be putting a bit of money into this account and then holding yourself to like that is your little list to go back to. So
Mhm.
when Bobby's birthday comes up, and you're going to go buying a gift, like you just look back to say like, okay, but in the whole scheme of my giving, what was I planning to spend on him? And that can help when giving kind of feels like it's become too much.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And something that's just coming to mind for me, I'd love to hear your thoughts, is like maybe looking at like other ways that you can give that aren't money, like whether
Absolutely.
it's time or donating stuff.
Someone who was giving quite a bit of money to their church, which is fine. A lot of people feel strongly about that, but we considered like maybe part of your giving is volunteering. And so maybe if you can volunteer sort of in place of some of that money, because she had the time and she was interested in doing that anyway, so that would work. I have had other people like make like get sort of creative with Christmas presents for people in their families. And yeah, once you start doing the work, yeah, like you get excited about finding ways to reduce what you're spending and meet your goals. So, like often like bake some cookies. Like most
Yeah.
people in your life are not going to be upset if you give them a tin of cookies at Christmas.
Yeah, and like something I've been doing is I'm a knitter. I love knitting and crochet, and I love splurging on like really nice yarn.
Mhm.
So I'll kind of just do a lot of gifts so that
And
it's kind of like my hobby budget, but also my gift budget has like
that's perfect.
merged. And I mean, I don't do this for people I know who don't want it, but like the people I do this for really love it and like appreciate the
I was so thoughtful when you've put, your effort into it too.
Yeah, thanks so much for visiting here.
Yeah, thanks for having me for this chat, Zoe.
Yeah, this was really great. Did you want to share where people can kind of check
Sure.
out your stuff or your social media?
Yeah. So Damsel Financial Coaching is my business, but you can find me at Damsel Out of Debt everywhere. Instagram, Facebook. My website is damseloutofdebt.com. And yeah, I'd love to have a chat.
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
All right, thanks, Zoe.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos with helpful practical strategies to help with your ADHD, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. I'll see you in the next one.